So we discussed on the basic or fundamental concepts of principal component analysis, but now I am going to discuss the results of principal component analysis, or PCA, and I will also discuss what are the drawbacks or limitations of principal component analysis, which is very important to know. Because if we know the drawbacks of principal component analysis, then we can understand the importance of factor analysis, which will be our next topic. So how to conduct the principal component analysis using software and taking a particular problem, that I am not going to show you now, because the same sort of thing will be discussed in case of factor analysis, or when we will discuss on factor analysis. As of now, just think that we have got the results of principal component analysis, and basically we focus on three tables. One table you can see for communalities, another table is there for this is for eigenvalues, and next slide, on the next slide we will see that there is also another slide which is for rotated component matrix. This is basically factor loading or factor loading matrix. So, or sometimes it is also termed as pattern matrix. So now you can see that in this particular problem, there were 18 variables, original variables or observed variables. So after implementing principal component analysis, you can see that these are the extraction, these are the values of the extraction. Okay, if some value is less than 0.3, then usually that variable is deleted. So what does it mean, extraction? Suppose the first extraction for the first variable, this is 0.418. Okay, so communality of variable q01, or the first variable, is 0.418. It means 41.8% variance of q01. This variable is explained by 18 principal components. Okay, this is basically the total variance. So these are the values of the communalities, and they actually express that how much of the variance of the variables is expressed by the principal components. Okay, how much of the variance, how much of the variable is expressed. Okay, so similarly, we can also, for Q2, for Q3, what is the communality that we can express. Okay, now so obviously you can see that if 30% or if less variance of a variable is expressed by all the principal components, then it indicates that that particular variable is not important, so we can discard, we can delete, eliminate the variable. Now look at this table. Here the first one is initial eigenvalues, and then there is extraction sums of squared loadings. Okay, so you can see that for 18 variables, initially you have extracted 18 principal components, and they express the variance, they accounts for this amount of eigen values. Okay, so if you add all or sum it up, if you take the summation of all these eigen values, then you will get some, suppose 14 or 15 something you will get. And if you divide it, suppose 6.916 divided by 15, the total, and if you convert it into percentage, then you will get this percentage of variance. So what does it mean? Eigenvalue of PC1 is 6.916. It means 38.425% of total variance of the 18 variables is explained by PC1. Okay. So in this table, you are seeing that the variance, how much variance the variable I mean, how much the variance of the variable that is explained. And here you are looking that the principal components, a particular principal component that is capable to explain how much variance of all the variables. Okay, so similarly, the second component is 1.316. For the second principal component, the eigenvalue is 1.316 and percentage of variance is 7.313. That means that for eigenvalue of PC2 is 1.316, it means that 7.313% of total variance of the 18 variables is explained by PC2. And altogether, PC1 and PC2 can explain, here is the cumulative percentage, 45.738. This much of variance they can explain. Similarly, if you take into account all the first three principal components, then they can altogether, they can explain around 52.618% of variance of all the variables. Now, the other principal components are not considered. Why? Because their eigenvalue is less than 1, and usually the value which are less than 1, they are not considered. But sometimes, depending upon the analysis or what the researcher actually want to perform, they can consider even for less than 1 value, they can consider. Okay. So here we can find, so what is the importance of the communality? We can identify from this table that whether we need to eliminate some variable. So here there is no case of elimination. And from this we can say that the total amount of variance that are explained, so we can actually choose the components. So we can, here we can see that we can choose 3 components, but after that it is less than 1 and those things are not considered, eigenvalues less than 1. Okay, so Now, uh, there is another table. This is called, uh, this is actually factor loading table. Okay. We can, this is actually the value of the correlation between the principal components and the variable. Okay. How the variable is loaded onto the particular, some particular components, that we can check. And we can also, you can see that loading indicates how much a principal component uh, explains each variable. Okay. So, so you can see that some variables are very highly loaded onto some particular component. Okay. So accordingly, you can choose the, you can assign the particular variables onto some components. Okay. And you can see here that three components you have selected, and you can, from this, they have actually rotated the component matrix. What is, why this rotation is done, how this rotation is done, that we will discuss later on when we will discuss factor analysis. But so this part is complete. That means the assignment of the variable to particular some principal component, that is complete. So you have done basically three things. One is whether you have checked that whether some variables you need to eliminate or not. If you eliminate some variable, then the remaining variables you should consider, and again you should conduct the principal component analysis. Then you should select that how many principal components you should choose and how much percentage of the variance they can explain. So that you have done, and you have also done the assignments. That means which particular variable you should give on to which particular principal components, that you can also do. So those things you have completed right now. So now, what is the drawback of this method that you need to think about? What is the drawback of this method? So actually, you can see that whenever you consider principal component analysis, basically you express the fact, the components, the principal components, in terms of, or in terms of, I mean, considering the linear combinations of all the variables. Okay. So you are basically uh, uh, accumulating some particular variables to form a component. Okay. Now, this kind of accumulation may not be meaningful. Okay. Because this is not like that you are actually considering some factor or some construct or some latent variable, and under that you are considering some particular manifest variables. It's not like that. It is clear from the analysis that you are basically accumulating, or you are abstracting some of the variables. But after summing it up, it may not be something meaningful one which you desire in practice or in real world. Okay, there is not such guarantee. And also, the thing that you are getting after the accumulation, that means the components, those are not as such, you cannot say that those are latent constructs, or those are something called latent variable. It's not like that. So that's why when you have huge amount of data, suppose you have hundreds of variables and you'd like to reduce your data set, in that case you can apply it. Okay. So the objective of principal component analysis is only to reduce the data set. That's it. But whenever you are considering, I will discuss later on the factor analysis. And here another drawback of principal component analysis, that you are considering the total variance of all the variables. I can show you the next slide, that whenever we consider the variable, suppose you have got some variables. Okay. Now each and every variable will have some variance around it. Why? Because whenever you are considering some variable, you are basically you are taking some samples from the population, right? So if your samples are different, then obviously you can get different values. Okay. And accordingly your uh, all the other estimates, they can vary. So obviously the variables have some variance around it. Now some variances are common variances. Suppose you have 10 variables. Now if they are correlated, or if some of the variables are correlated, then obviously some common variances there. And there is also some specific variance which is unique to the variable itself. And obviously there is also some error variance, which variance actually, that is actually variance due to measurement error or some random or unknown source. Okay, so error variance is also there, that cannot be explained. Okay, so when you are considering the principal component analysis, you are taking into account all these variables. Okay, all these variables you are considering when you are doing principal component analysis or PCA. So that's why it is not a good way. That's why whatever you will get ultimately, so that may not be something meaningful in case of the real sense. Okay, and that is not as such some latent variable after the accumulation, the component that you are getting. Okay, so that's why the concept of factor analysis has been introduced. In case of factor analysis, instead of the total variance of the variables, only the common variance or the shared variance is considered. So some hypothetical factors are considered, and in case of factor analysis, the variables are expressed in terms of the hypothetical factors. Okay, and those hypothetical factors are basically latent constructs or variables that cannot be directly measured. Okay, but they can they are very important because in that particular under them some manifest variables or the variables that you are actually that you have actually taken, those variables are considered in case of explanatory factor analysis. And that is why an underlying model structure that can be performed using the factor analysis or exploratory factor analysis, because factor analysis there is also two different types of factor analysis: exploratory factor analysis and confirmatory factor analysis. Confirmatory factor analysis I will discuss later on, but as of now the exploratory analysis we are saying. So the so in case of explanatory factor analysis, the variables are expressed in terms of the in terms of the factors, in terms of the hypothetical factors or latent constructs or unobservable variables. Okay, and only the common variance is considered. Only the common variance is considered in case of factor analysis or the exploratory factor analysis. That's why when we will see in detail uh, about the exploratory factor analysis, I can show you to when we will see that the variable that is expressed in terms of factors in case of factor analysis, and also we can see that this is the model of the exploratory factor analysis. These factors are unobservable, and you can see here that these factors, they can be also uh, correlated with each other. Okay, they can be also correlated with each other in case of exploratory factor analysis. Okay, because here you can see that the direction of arrow, they are from the construct to the variables. But in case of principal component analysis, the direction of arrow is reverse, because you are accumulating some variables to make some component that may not be meaningful in real world. So here, and in case of principal but in case of the principal component analysis, the components do not have any correlation in between them, among them. The components are always the component explains non-redundant information. Okay, so that's why it is very important to note. It is That's why it is very important to note that when to conduct principal component analysis and when to conduct factor analysis or exploratory factor analysis. When your intention is just to reduce the amount of data, then you can simply go for principal component analysis. But when you want to get some underlying structure or model, and you can guess that you would like to consider some hypothetical factors, which is actually uh, the latent construct or latent variable or unobserved variable, and which is actually the cause of the observed variables, and you would like to get some causal relationships in the model. During that time, you should consider the exploratory factor analysis. And many a times it happens that the you in some you will see that there are some software like SPSS is widely used for conducting uh, principal PCA or factor analysis, exploratory factor analysis. And if using that, if you consider some, and also in SPSS, you will see that principal component analysis individually cannot perform. Under factor analysis, they consider principal component analysis, but in factor analysis method, the factor extraction method, one of the factor extraction methods is principal component analysis. So though it is under factor analysis, but you are actually not doing the factor analysis at all. You are doing principal component analysis. And if you carry out factor analysis with the extraction method of principal component analysis or PCA, sometimes the reviewers, they actually reject your paper. Why? Because the principal component analysis, you are accumulating some of the variables into some, you are grouping it, but grouping it into some components, but that components cannot be something meaningful, which practically exists in real world. But whenever you will be using some sort of factor analysis using, and there if you use, usually principal axis factoring method is used for factor extraction in factor analysis, then usually reviewers, they do not, it is quite commonly used. There are also some other techniques, but I'm not going into that details. It is majorly, in maximum cases, it is used, the principal axis factoring. And if you use principal axis factoring, then most of the reviewers, they do not give any objection, because it takes into account only the uh, only the shared variances. That's why the factor, uh, the hypothetical factors, and you express the variables in terms of some hypothetical factors or the latent constructs uh, that you can feel after doing the analysis, the kind of latent factor or latent variable or constructs that you need to guess, and you need to give a proper name based on your technical knowledge. It basically, it exists in the real world, because it is basically the uh, cause of your manifest variables or observed variables. So that's why it is preferred. Okay. So thanks for watching. In the next class, we will go through the details of factor analysis method. Thank you.